Well, hello again, everybody. Today I thought what I'd do is make a couple of benches out of live edge Eastern Red Cedar. So here's the material I'm going to be using today. You can see it's got live edges on both sides. And we're going to go ahead and retain that. I'm going to have one that's 48 inches and one that's 40 inches. So let's get right to it. The wood I selected for the project is rough cut FAS grade Eastern Red Cedar. FAS, in case you don't know, stands for first and seconds, meaning material was cut from the better part of the log. Rough cut lumber out of the mill is usually close to parallel plane, but is rough and needs to be smoothed out. To make sure the opposing surfaces are parallel, I'll use my thickness pointer. These boards are actually a little thicker at one end than the other, so I had to make a few passes on each board to true them up. If you don't have a planer, another more time-consuming option to true up boards is a belt sander. Planers kick out a lot of chips. Pro tip, Eastern Red Cedar is the same material that cedar hope chests are made out of. Bugs hate the smell of aromatic cedar. Eastern Red Cedar is aromatic. You can put these shavings into an old sock or a pair of nylons and put them into your sock drawer, or spread the chips around your flower beds or garden to keep bugs away. So how do you make parallel cuts on a board with irregular edges? Pro tip, I use a tape measure, a speed or framing square, and a straight edge. Here's how I do it. Start by measuring the width of the board at one end, mark the center of that measurement, then go to the other end of the board and do the same thing. Now snap a chalk line between the two marks. Line up your speed square or framing square with the chalk line and line up your straight edge with the other edge of the square. Draw the perpendicular line. This is your first cut line. Any additional cuts are marked by measuring from both sides of the first cut line, making it parallel to the first cut. I want the legs of the bench to be angled at 5 degrees to give the bench a more stable foundation. I set my circular saw to 5 degrees and make the cut on the first parallel line I marked. My legs will be 16 inches, so after I make the first cut, I pull off 16 inches from both sides of the cut and draw the second cut line. Make your second cut from the same side of the board. If not, your 5-degree angles will not be parallel. Here are the top and legs of the 40-inch wide bench and the legs and top of the 48-inch wide bench. Because the legs are cut at 5-degree angle, I'll need to make a spreader to connect the legs so they won't flex out when weight is put on the bench. I want the bench top to overhang 4 inches at the ends, so I mark the legs position on the bottom side of the bench tops to determine the length of the spreader for each bench. The measurements of the spreaders are 29.5 inches for the 40-inch bench and 37.5 inches for the 48-inch bench. Now these are the short measurements. These spreaders will be mitered at 5 degrees to match the 5-degree bevel of the legs. I want to make the spreaders with a live edge also from leftover material I have after cutting out the bench legs and tops. Remember that chalk line I marked on the boards? I'll use it again here. To cut the spreader material in half, I free cut the board on my table saw following the chalk line as straight as possible. Then, to true up the cut, I reset the table saw fence and make the truing cut. To make sure I put the legs together the right way, I mark the top of the legs right and left so I don't forget which is which. Here you can see how the leg will be angled 5 degrees once it is installed. Now I'm ready to cut the spreaders. Make sure you measure and cut short dimensions of 29.5 and 37.5. That was figured out a couple steps earlier. Sometimes when I get in a hurry, I mess this step up. Now I didn't think you wanted to watch me sand for 2 hours, but I thought I'd show you what I use. Eastern Red Cedar is relatively soft, so I used a 120 grit disc on my random orbit sander. Make sure you capture at least some of the dust from your sander. You may want to mix the sanding dust with glue to fill imperfections in the piece later. And as I mentioned before, you may have to use a belt sander if you don't have access to a surface planer. And there's quite a bit of hand sanding as part of the process also, depending on how refined you want the end product to be. To attach the legs to the spreader, I used glue and trim nails to initially attach the legs. Remember that chalk line? It's still on the legs, so I'll use it to center the spreader on the leg. As you can see here, the holes left by the finish nails I used to temporarily hold the legs to the spreader are very small and will be filled with glue and sawdust from my orbital sander later. To make the connection from the legs to the spreader stronger, I'll install some screws. Now, I don't want the screws to show, so I pre-drill some countersinks that I'll plug later. To make the countersink, I use a 31/64 brad point bit. The 31/64 bit is 1/64 less than 3/8 of an inch. When I install the 3/8 inch plugs later, they'll be a tight fit. You can buy the 31/64 brad point bit from Amazon. Now I'm ready to install the top. I put a bead of glue on the top of the legs and the spreader to make the top even more secure. Because I want the top to overhang the legs by 4 inches, I cut a 4-inch block out of scrap with a 5-degree bevel at one end to align the top. Note that I already pre-drilled the countersink holes over the leg attachment points. Pro tip, when running in the screws over the legs, make sure that you angle the screw at 5 degrees or the screw may come out the side of the leg, which you definitely don't want. I also wanted to install some screws from the top into the spreader. I used a tape measure to measure the distance from the edge of the top to the side of the spreader. Transfer that measurement plus 1/2 inch, because the spreader is 1 inch thick, to the top of the bench and drill the countersinks. Now install the screws. To cover the screw countersinks, I make a bunch of 3/8 inch plugs using a plug cutter in my drill press. Cut the plugs from the same color wood where the countersinks were drilled. I had one countersink in the lighter color of the board, so I cut a couple of lighter plugs as well. To extract the plugs, use a small chisel to pry them out. Now to install the plugs, I put a little glue on the base of the plug and pound them into the countersink with a small trim hammer. Notice how tight the fit is because the 31/64 brad point bit I used to drill the countersinks. It's okay if the plugs are a little proud, in other words stick above the surface of the board, because I'll be sanding them flush during the finish sanding. And here they are, all assembled, finish sanded, with 3 coats of clear semi-gloss lacquer applied. This is actually a fairly simple woodworking project, except for the sanding time. I had some material left over, so I also made a small stool with tapered round legs. The piece had a split beginning to form, so I made and installed some darts out of maple to prevent the split from spreading. Now, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, like, and share. And be sure to leave comments about other projects you'd like to see. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.